Hey guys, this video is all about using that point slope form that we were using earlier last week. That is the equation y is equal to m times x minus h plus k. So all we have to do, find the slope, plug it in for m, and then figure out that one point. The weird thing is that if you notice the x value that we have for our point, the sign changes, and then we simply add the y value outside. So we're going to actually do questions 1 through 4 together, and then you guys get to practice the rest of them after this video. So it says, write an equation of a line that passes through 1, 5 with a slope of 2. So all we have to do, we're going to plug in 2 for the slope, x minus our x value, which is 1, and then plus our y value, which is 5. So that's the answer. Y is equal to 2x minus 1 plus 5. We're done. Except I made that little mistake. Now, these are a little bit tougher because you'll notice that there are 2 points instead of a point and a slope. So what that means is we need to find the slope. And as we've been talking about for the last week, slope is the change in the y's over the change in the x's. So I find out, what do I need to do to -1, which is a y value, to get -4, which is another y value. So to get from -1 to -4, I would subtract 3. Then I do the same thing for my two x values. To get from -3 to 6, I would have to add 9. So to get the slope, I simply take that change in the y values, put it on top, change in the x values, put it on bottom. Now the tough part here is we actually need to see if we can reduce, which basically means, can I divide 3 and 9 by the same number? And in this case, I can. I can divide the top by 3 and the bottom by 3. -3 divided by 3 is -1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So our slope in this case is going to be -1/3. So here's what we're allowed to do. We're allowed to say slope is -1/3. And we can either use the point -3, -1, or we can use the point 6, -4. So, for our first equation, we can just do y is equal to our slope times x, and this is the tricky part. Well, remember we talked about to get to 0, we would have to start with -3 and add 3 to x. So you'll notice that the sign changed. But for the y value, we simply slap the y value on there. So this is a perfectly good equation. We don't need to do anything to it. The only thing is, we could have chosen the other point to write our equation. So we could have done -1/3 times x minus 6 minus 4. Both of which are perfectly fine answers, and you really only need to know how to do one of them. So with these next two problems, it's literally the exact same thing. In this problem, they gave us a point and they gave us a slope, so all I need to do is plug in slope times x minus our x value plus our y value. And notice that even though I say like plus our y value, if I do plus a -2, well, that's the same thing as saying -2. So our final answer, y is equal to 2 times x minus 4 minus 2. For question 4, again, we've got 2 points, so we actually need to find our slope. We look at the two y values and say, what do we need to do to 0 to get to 4? Well, we would add 4. Well, what do we need to do to get from 6 to 0, we would need to subtract 6. So our slope is change in y, which is 4, over change in x, negative 6. And look, once again, we can divide both the top and the bottom by the same number, and we get a slope of negative 2/3. So, as I said at the top video, we could actually choose either one of the points to be our answer. So if I chose 6, 0 as my point, well, I'd get negative 2/3, x minus 6 plus 0. And if I chose to use 0, 4 as my point, well, I would get y is equal to negative 2/3, x minus 0 plus 4. So again, you have two different answers to that question. Both answers are totally fine. Pick whichever one you feel comfortable. I hope that helps. You should be getting a second worksheet with problems just like this. So feel free to rewatch this video until you get how to do it. Finish the worksheet, turn it in, and you're good to go for the day.